Hi there, I'm Jo Marshall from Culturise, and I'm going to give you a really quick introduction to one of the most practical and powerful tools for creating an engaged, inclusive and high-performing culture. It's my baby here, the Culture Deck. What's in it? 55 cards with these words on them. We ask employees to review all of the cards and come up with the 4 cards that represent the 4 things that matter most to them at work, the 4 things that are most important to them at work. As a leader, I might ask you that question, and once you've chosen your 4 cards, I'll ask you to describe them to me. What's going on around you when each of those words is going well and when it's not going well? What does that achieve? Firstly, I deepen my understanding of my team, what really matters to them, and what's going to drive them towards improving their performance. I get to know them. I get to know them in the context of what's important to them at work. And if we can help them succeed at that, they'll succeed in our organisation. What's really important within that is to take the employee's perspective. Having a conversation with an employee about what matters to them at work and then deepening our understanding of that makes that employee feel valued. It makes them feel that we're interested in them as a human. And that's really powerful, especially for those of us leaders that really struggle a little bit with the soft skills and how to enhance our relationships with our employees. This provides a really simple to follow process. Once our employees have described their 4 cards to us, we then ask them another question, and that is to score them. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is awful and 10 is fantastic, how are each of those 4 things going for you at work at the moment? Our employees score them. We start by talking about the scores that are going really well for them. And then we hone in on those areas that we can see perhaps aren't as satisfying for that employee right at the moment. And this is where it gets really powerful. We ask the employee one question, and that is this: what's one specific thing that you can do to help get your score up higher than it currently is? In doing that, we take away our own temptation to be problem fixers for our employee. Fixing our employees' problems we know isn't always the best way to get growth, engagement and accountability. By asking them to come up with a specific thing that they can do, we're encouraging them to consider what they can do. We're encouraging them towards accountability and taking some responsibility for their satisfaction at work. And importantly, over time, as we repeat this exercise, we will start to see our employees becoming more and more adaptable and resilient. So as you can see on the screen here, the Culture Deck pad gives us the opportunity to record the action that our employee comes up with, to put a time frame around it so that we can continue the discussion and make it accountable. And we then have an accountability partner in there, and that may be me, the leader, or in fact, it may be a colleague of the employee that's really well positioned to help guide them and hold them to account to their action. So that's one example of how we use the Culture Deck, but really it's a tool for the whole employee journey. I start job interviews asking prospective employees to go through the activity with the Culture Deck. In onboarding, we present new employees with their own Culture Deck, and as new employees go and introduce themselves and meet existing employees, they mutually share the Culture Deck as a fantastic and safe way to get to know each other in a work-related and yet quite personal manner. We advocate using the Culture Deck as a part of, at least, the employee development and review process. We suggest that leaders go through the Culture Deck with their teams on at least a quarterly basis, and we have tools to help formalise that into quarterly reviews and fit it in existing employee review and leadership frameworks within organisations. It's a great tool for inclusion, and every card actually has Braille on it, and the words on every card can be integrated very simply by employees holding Google Translate over the word to have it translated into their first primary language. We often give employees who have English as their second, third or fourth language a copy of the words the day before a session so that they can familiarise themselves and contextualise those words and put themselves on an equal deep footing of understanding with their colleagues when they come in to talk about the Culture Deck. We use them in group workshops, we use them individually. And so, as you can see, the Culture Deck's a really versatile tool. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to have a look at it. We'd love to talk to you about it in person. And for more, get in touch with us on our website. Thanks again.